Please consider supporting me on my Patreon, which is linked in the description below, to receive some great rewards. How's it going, everyone? It is me, the Lone Vault Wanderer, and welcome back to Borderlands: The Definitive Story, the series where we explore the main story of the original Borderlands game. In the last video, which you can find linked in the description below, we covered the first few opening missions of the game, including some deep dives on Claptraps, Hyperion, TK Baha, Dr. Zed, and Nine Toes. Today we're going to continue by discussing the Nine Toes, Catch a Ride, and Bonehead missions, with deep dives into Sledge, Scooter, Bonehead, Catch a Ride stations, and also Digistruct technology. If you're going to enjoy this video, please like and subscribe, I'd really appreciate it. So sit back, relax, and enjoy as we continue down this road to Borderlands 3. This is Borderlands: The Definitive Story, Part 4. Last time, we left off with the Vault Hunters blowing up the barricade preventing entry to Skag Gully. The Hunters then enter the gully and head towards Nine Toes' hideout. Along the way, as requested by TK Baha, they search the weapon stash located at the grave of TK's late wife and pick up what's there, including the Ladyfinger, a unique repeater pistol by Hyperion. When they then reach Nine Toes' hideout, Angel then warns them that this will be their first real challenge and she hopes that they've toughened up enough. After clearing out some bandits, the Hunters take down an elevator into Nine Toes' headquarters and finally confront the man himself.
You woke the wrong dog. Ah, yeah!
Immediately on arrival, the elevator stops working and Nine Toes attacks the Hunters. And then, once his shields are depleted, he releases his two pet Skags, Pinky and Digit, to attack the Hunters. And fun fact here, it's actually possible to prevent Pinky and Digit from ever spawning in the first place by depleting Nine Toes' health really quickly. But eventually, after a hard battle, Nine Toes is murdered. The elevator out of his hideout is up and running, and the Hunters loot his quarters, finding Nine Toes' unique fire elemental machine pistol known as the Clipper. The Hunters then exit the hideout and Angel contacts them again. She tells them that the vault is very much real. People will try and mislead them and use them along the way, but they cannot be swayed in their purpose. Thankfully though, Angel will continue to provide a close watchful eye as they make their way through the dangers on Pandora. So the Hunters head back to the arid Badlands and report their endeavors to TK Baha. TK tells the Hunters that the death of Nine Toes will definitely piss off his boss Sledge. Sledge is one of the main bosses in Borderlands, so it's really important that we understand who he is. Sledge is the leader of the bandits in the arid Badlands area and the superior to both Nine Toes and Bonehead. As we discussed in earlier episodes, Dahl used to operate out of the Headstone mine, but they uncovered something important that they then tried to hide away from the world. The discovery, however, caused the workers and convicts within Headstone mine to mutate into the crazed out psychos that we know today, ranging from regular psychos to small midget psychos and even large badass psychos. Dahl was then forced out of the Headstone mine as a result, so someone needed to step up, control these psychos, and become their leader. That man was of course named Sledge, and now he had a small army of bandits and psychos at his disposal, which is why he exercised such great control over the arid Badlands, and effectively prevented Vault Hunters from access to the Dull Headlands. However, Sledge is not the smartest man in the world. I mean, let's take a look at some of his eloquent quotes, and I stress, I am quoting here, "Sledge angry, Sledge destroy," and "Sledge's men, my men, attack." And this piece of art, Sledge have a idea say destroy them all. Ah man, poetry to your ears. However, when you're as strong as powerful as Sledge is, and own a powerful sledgehammer known as the Hammer that can send shockwaves when utilized to keep people at a distance, in addition to his unique shotgun, you probably don't need to be smart. He can also take a lot of punishment, and when the Vault Hunters eventually face him in battle, it is a very tough fight. Angel also tells us that Sledge has done terrible and awful things to the people of Firestone, which is especially obvious at the beginning of the game with his followers, Nine Toes and Bonehead, conducting frequent raids on the small town in an attempt to take control of it. He is simply a ruthless man, with Dr. Zed even telling us that Sledge murdered Shep Sanders' family and, wait for it, used their skin to build a tent. Yes, a skin tent. Sledge is certainly not someone you want to mess with. But here's the thing, Sledge has something in his possession that is very important. This item is the same thing that Dahl once discovered and tried to cover up, that being a fragment of the key to Pandora's elusive vault. If the hunters want to open Pandora's vault, they must confront Sledge himself, kill him, and steal it from him. So TK tells the hunters to go back to Zed and Firestone as he will likely have a big payday for them. Sure enough, Zed gives them a nice little bounty and thanks them for their great service of eliminating Ninetoes. But then Zed tells the hunters that Ninetoes was just a cog in the machine, and the real problem on Pandora is his boss, Sledge. Zed then tells the hunters to check the bounty board if they're interested in more work, and on the board they can see a mission from Scooter. Scooter is a resident of Pandora and one of the game's more important characters. So let's discuss him in detail. Scooter is a mechanic that owns workshops right across Pandora, including New Haven, Sanctuary, Hollow Point, and T-Bone Junction. While this character hasn't been introduced yet, some Borderlands fans might be surprised to know that Scooter is actually the son of Mad Moxie and Jimbo Hodunk. His name Scooter comes from one of his sisters. Importantly, Scooter is the one that runs the catch-a-ride stations and both builds and maintains the runners that are distributed from them. These vehicles are absolutely key for anyone that wants to travel around Pandora. Scooter is also responsible for giving the hunters various missions, beginning with the repair of the Firestone catch-a-ride station and many other missions once the hunters arrive in New Haven. Touching on the catch-a-ride systems for a second, these are stations that can create and distribute outrunner vehicles that of course can then be used to drive around Pandora. These outrunners are equipped with weapons on board, like machine guns and rocket launchers. However, only 2 outrunners can be produced for an account at any one time, but at least their colors can be chosen every time they're constructed. The catch-a-ride terminals or stations are available in many different places, but typically they're located in places where they're needed the most, like near cities, towns, and main roads. Once a runner is created, hunters can even fast travel to their runner from a catch-a-ride station instead of having to create a new one. But let's understand how the catch-a-ride stations actually work. When the very first catch-a-ride terminal is encountered to be broken, Scooter informs the hunters that the catch-a-rides rely on Digistruct modules to work. Digistruct technology is derived from Meridian technology discovered by the Atlas Corporation. It allows a range of things, including people, vehicles, and other items, to be built or constructed on demand from a digital blueprint. It is in fact the exact same technology that enables the new U stations to operate, which is why at the beginning of the game, the Vault Hunters had to register their DNA or digital blueprint in order to be reconstructed once they died. But Digistructed materials aren't just holographs. They look, operate, and feel like actual matter, which is why the Outrunners can very much be driven like real vehicles. Additionally, Digistruct items can even include guns and melee weapons that the hunters themselves use, and can even extend to certain enemies and also grenades, health kits, and ammo stored in a backpack. Once an item is scanned or registered by a Digistruct device, that item is then deconstructed and kept in a storage unit in order to be reconstructed on demand. So on Scooter's bounty board post, he asks if there is anyone around Firestone, as he'd appreciate it if they can give the catch-a-ride a try, as he hasn't seen any activity for months on the machine, especially due to bandits like Sledge and the former Ninetoes being on the rise. As soon as the mission is activated, Scooter contacts the hunters and tells them that the catch-a-ride station is actually busted and they'll need to repair it. After investigating the machine, it is clear that the station is on the fritz. Scooter then runs a diagnostic program and determines that the primary Digistruct module is missing. Without this module, the catch-a-ride simply will not work. But here's the issue. This module was probably stolen by Bonehead, the rival bandit leader to the late and great Ninetoes. Next to Ninetoes, Bonehead is a bandit lord in the arid Badlands area, who reports to the bandit leader Sledge as his lieutenant. His real name is, wait for it, Bernard Rickenshaw. Yes, how lovely. But of course he prefers to go by Bonehead. Bonehead's camp is just next to Firestone, and he too conducts regular raids on the town, with his efforts leading him to, of course, steal the Digistruct module from the Firestone catch-a-ride station. But unlike most of his bandit counterparts, Bonehead is actually a very smart guy. The origin of his name Bonehead is unknown, but he obtained it at a very young age. Because of the mystery behind his name, naturally, people kept asking him about it. So Bonehead started to wear skulls on his head, whether from creatures or enemies he killed, to stop people from asking the question and also to start truly living up to the name of Bonehead. And as mentioned in the previous episode, at least before Ninetoes' death, he was once in an intense rivalry with Ninetoes, and both of them fought back and forth in their attempts to take control of Firestone, a conflict which was expedited by Sledge, who simply got tired of Bonehead and Ninetoes fighting. And finally, apparently Bonehead practices voodoo. Who knew? So Scooter instructs the Vault Hunters to get the module back from Bonehead and reinstall it into the station. They then head that way and clear out both Bonehead and his gang. Bonehead is a very tough fight, but eventually the Hunters succeed. And it's certainly worth it, as Bonehead drops his unique submachine gun, the Bone Shredder, which has a double accessory and scope and a 2.4 times weapon zoom. Then at the back of Bonehead's encampment in a chest, the Hunters finally find the Digistruct module, which is marked with a warning that reads, "Do not remove from the Catch-A-Ride unit or equipment failure may result." How fitting. So the Hunters head back to the Catch-A-Ride station and drop the module into the machine, which causes it to become fully operational. And thanks to their help, Scooter tells the Hunters that he is setting them up with an all-access runner account, which will provide them access to 2 different outrunners, one with a rocket launcher and another with a machine gun. And they're certainly going to need it with the next mission that Scooter gives them, as the one last hurdle to escape Firestone is getting around a gate that Sledge's bandits put up to close off the town. Sledge's men did this because they wanted to stop the travel of Firestone and other Pandora residents between the town of Firestone and another location, New Haven. In order to reach the controls of the gate on the other side, the Hunters will need to use the Catch-A-Ride station runner, drive up a ramp, and then jump the gully called Pisswash. Once there, the Hunters can attack Sledge's bandits from behind and then open the gate. So naturally, the Vault Hunters follow Scooter's instructions and manage to jump Pisswash, but only thanks to the afterburners or boosts that are available on the runners. They then kill Sledge's bandits who put up the gate and open it up, which allows much easier travel from Firestone to New Haven. Scooter then tells the Hunters to head back to Zed and tell him that they've both fixed the Catch-A-Ride and opened the main road. As they make their way back, Claptrap tells the Hunters to check the bounty board, and there they can find a mission from one Patricia Tannis. She's a very important character as we've discussed, but we'll address her in a later episode. Once the Vault Hunters reach Dr. Zed and inform him of the newly opened gate, he then tells them that some locals heard about the gate and all of them simply left for New Haven, even though the area is still full of bandits. Zed, however, is staying put because Sledge is still out there. Zed is adamant that he won't leave until Sledge is killed, otherwise he'd probably end up dangling from a pike, and perhaps even worse, ending up like Shep Sanders' family. Accordingly, Zed gives the Vault Hunters another mission to find that man, Shep Sanders, and go after the bandit leader himself, Sledge. But of course, that's going to be covered in the next episode. Thank you for watching this episode of Borderlands: The Definitive Story. If you enjoyed this video, please like and subscribe, I'd really appreciate it. Also, give a big thank you to all of those who contributed to the Borderlands wiki site run by Fandom, which really helped me write the script for this video. So until next time, this has been the Lone Vault Wanderer. Please take care of yourself and would you kindly keep fighting the good fight. Thank you for watching this video, and in particular, a big thank you to Jaden, Heretic Shark, Fuzzo Monster, Jessomatic, Mr. Cookie, Tazo Monster, Alex Morgan, Kalina, Electric Piano, Cerebral Policy, Jackek, and the Desert Ranger, who are my $15 and above patrons on Patreon. So please take care of yourself and keep fighting the good fight.